we're back. Howdy y'all, this is Ethan Bonreal, back at it again, giving you that gay shit you love while playing some more Earthbound. So last time we were here, we defeated Ness's nightmare, which allowed us to expunge the evil from our hearts and take our psychic powers to new levels. On top of that, the game also demanded that we head to Saturn Valley. It didn't give us really any sort of option to not do that, so we're fucking here with these little weirdos, and Dr. Andonot's an Apple Kid apparently. But that's fine. I mean, if the plot demands it, it demands it. This time around, we're going to figure out why the hell we're here, and then I'm just gonna talk about some shit, you know? I got some gay stuff hanging out in my pocket, and I'm about to pull it out and just lay it on the table, and you can take it or leave it. You feel? So, anyway, let's talk to this thing. Zoom. Okay, that was very poignant. What about you? Yahaha! The Mr. Saturns are incredible folk. And Apple Kid, he is truly a most exceptional young man. Very different from the other kids. Well, anyway, the prototype phase distorter has been stolen. Somebody resembling a pig wearing clothes took Mr. Saturn captive and stole the device. And if you can't figure out who that is, it is our nemesis Pokey, who fucking just took off with the phase distorter. But what the hell is a phase distorter, let's ask. Excellent, excellent. Everything proceeded as planned. Dr. Andonot's Mr. Saturn and I worked together and finally completed the phase distorter. The purpose of this device is to enable instantaneous travel through space and time. In this prototype, you can only travel between different points within the same time period. So essentially, this is basically just a fucking car at that point. I mean, if you're not really going anywhere else, but somewhere else in the same existence as you, then you are basically just taking a very, very, very quick car trip, in my opinion. However, it actually does not work out that way because the phase distorter is missing something. We need a piece of a meteorite, and the game actually happened to start off by having a meteorite drop near our house, so we actually have to go back to Onett and take advantage of that. I don't know exactly what the meteorite does. I guess we just jam it in the Mr. Saturn nose on this thing and then it gets powered up, but in any case, the plot demands it, so I'm not going to question it too much. But if y'all are wondering how I'm doing, I was going to say fine, but I'm actually a little bit annoyed, and I'm going to tell y'all a quick story about just me. So I got a message on Grindr from this dude with some absolutely just giganormous, just some real old huge, just a really, the dude had like a booty, just, it was big, mom, it was a big and juicy one. Cakey, he was dragging that wagon, he had that thing just trailing behind him. And you know what, I was all about it, but, you know, I started taking antidepressants about almost 2 weeks ago now, and I'm actually starting to feel some of the initial effects. They do take a while to ramp up. But the primary thing that I always feel first is basically that my wiener don't work no more. My meat just shut itself right off. And that is a pretty common side effect of using antidepressants, is that it makes it very hard to maintain an erection, and it just kind of cuts your libido in half. And that's fine and all for other people, but it's like, of course this man, like, he even messaged me first, which, again, very rarely happens, and he was like, let me just put this all on you, and I was like, oh my god, I want to scream, like, why now? Like, right when I'm just starting to feel the effects. And it was substantial. There was some substance to that man. But you know, I just told him the truth too. I was like, sorry, wiener machine broke. I got them neurotransmitters in me now, and I have to sacrifice this, so I can't be slinging it around. But you know, it's not that big of a deal, honestly. I mean, well, it made me a little bit frowny face, but ultimately I'd rather be more mentally stable than have to deal with this kind of stuff, or have to deal with, you know, freaking out or just being very depressed. But the trade-off is that I can't be in cheeks all the time, even though I'm not even really. Again, I mean, I say this like every other episode, but, you know, I'm not as sexually active as it seems. It's just whenever I have sex. And all the times I've had sex across my life, I tend to... I've accumulated stories to tell. But, you know, I'm in some alternate dimension, I'm swimming in cheeks, and I'm at risk of getting E. coli, and that's totally fine, because that's what I would want for the night. But instead, I'm here playing Earthbound with you kids. Oh, Ness, you finally showed up. There are plenty of creepy monsters running around Onett now. The townspeople are barricaded in their homes, afraid to go out. I'm fine, but I'm a bit scared. Everything will be okay if we just sit here quietly in the dark. Are you hungry? Do you want to eat some steak? Totes, yeah. Are you more relaxed? Okay. Well, you might be wondering why the fuck it's dark in Onett. And story-wise, what's supposed to be happening is that Gygus is attacking Onett because they don't want us to get the meteor that is here, because they know that it will help us thwart their plans, because we're good guys and that's what we do. Unfortunate for him, you know, we're strong as children, and we're just gonna beat the crap out of these aliens. Man, I can't... I really cannot impress on y'all enough how big that man's butt was. It was really big. He had wide hips too. I really like that. It was just he's very sexy. He's very cute. He's straightforward too. I really like when guys who are bottoms are very sexually straightforward. Cause man, oh my gosh, in the past I have like really had to like drag, like I've just almost wanted to tear my hair out with some guys where they're like, they really just expect me to do literally everything, and that's something I don't feel comfortable with. Like I told you all about that one guy a while ago who came over and he was basically like, I shouldn't have to say anything, you should just like, no, you should just fuck me, like whatever way you want, you shouldn't be trying to communicate me, you should just like see me, throw me down, and just put it in me. And I was just like, that's not how it's gonna work, because like well, for one, I don't want to hurt you, and then two, it's like that's a lot of pressure. I don't want to be that person. And I would just rather, you know, this be mutual instead of you basically putting all this pressure on me to basically control the entire flow of our sexual encounter. And I've encountered that quite a few times. I remember actually when I was a freshman in college, one of my friends flat out said, like, if a guy asked him to kiss him, that he would just break up with him, basically, and that he had done that before. Like, he had been seeing someone, and they hadn't kissed yet, they were just, like, dating and stuff, and he asked to kiss him, and he just broke up with him, and I was like, what the fuck, dude, I'm screaming, and his explanation was, well, he's a man, so he should just be able to just do it. And I mean, part of me wants to say that's valid because I'm trying to be nice, but at the same time, that's also kind of like not valid. You know what I mean? Like it's a little bit. That's a lot of pressure. Like, also, I think we just have a culture around like people not respecting each other's boundaries, and to encourage that, that's a little bit freaky to me. But I also understand that's like a personal thing for someone where they just want to be with someone who takes charge, but I don't know, that sounds a little bit dubious to me. But that ended up being like something that just echoed through my life, because I've just been with a lot of guys who are bottoms who are just like, well, you should just basically be doing everything, and like, if you try to communicate with me about what I want sexually, that's actually a turn off for me, because you're supposed to just basically show up and ravage me. Which is, again, not what I'm about, because I'm a very gentle man, if I do say so myself. Very gentle, homosexual, sophisticated. And I don't want to be forcing myself on people, basically. But, anyway, I just tend to like when, bottoms are more sexually forward, in general, just because it's like, I like, you know, just the right amount of communication where I know that we're mutually doing something that we both like, and that we are both getting something out of it, you know? I don't want it to just be about me, because it's nice to be fooling around with someone and knowing that they're into it. But other than that, I don't know, I guess that's all the sex stuff that's on my plate for now. Other than that, I don't know, I've just been kind of trying to twiddle my thumbs and figure out what the hell I want to do with my life. But give me one sec. Do you want to try to get it? So we're gonna reach our little child hands into this meteorite and pull out a chunk of it. And now that we've got it, we can either walk back through Onett, or we can just warp our asses out of here. And the solution that I am going to pick is to warp our asses out of here, because I don't want to be here no more, Mom. We're going back to Saturn Valley. But, yeah, like I said, I'm just twiddling my thumbs mostly, because it's like, this is my advice for you. If you are gay, and you struggle with being, I don't know how to say this, so, you know, a while ago I talked about how sometimes people confuse being lonely with horny, and vice versa, and that there can be some overlap with those things. Well, when you're on antidepressants, and you're just starting out, and it's like you're horny, but you can't do nothing about it, or alternatively, your sex drive just is weird, it's very easy just to, like, be like, damn, I don't know what to do with myself now. Like, normally I would just be filling this void in my soul with, like, jerking off, but now I'm just kind of, like, sitting here, just alternating between the same 3 windows in my web browser. Like, I don't know what to do now. And my advice to that is, you know, start LPing. That's that's actually how I started doing Let's Plays. I was like, I have no desire to masturbate anymore, so I'm going to play video games, ? And try to do something more positive with my depression. Who knows? But, you know, just start LPing. Also, maybe I should tell y'all some more stories about my freshman year of college. I think I'll do that. But first, what's up, Dr. Andonuts? If only I had a piece of meteorite. I might be able to extract some zexonite. Well, guess what I got up in my pocket, fam? Here you go. Ah, yes. This is fantastic. What? Well, I've never actually seen... I forgot my Dr. Andonuts voice. Well, I've actually never seen this incredibly rare element before. It is intriguing, though. Alright, leave everything to us and you get some rest. This is getting most fascinating. Do you have anything new to say? Okay. You don't have anything interesting to say. I'm not gonna lie, these things make me so uncomfortable. I think it's how their noses look, honestly. They just kinda... I don't know, I just feel like that might be hiding like a venomous stinger or something. I mean, I guess they're kinda cute. I don't think they're nefarious. They're unsettling. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and take a rest at this hotel. And when we wake up, the phase distorter will actually be fixed. Also, we're actually gonna rest again, because I want to try to get Jeff to fix that broken trumpet that's in his inventory. But, I don't know, what stories do I have to tell? You know, when I think it was my 2nd semester of college, we're gonna keep cycling till we repair it. I actually became texting buddies with this dude that I met over Craigslist. Because I didn't have a smartphone for a long time. It's actually a pretty recent development in my life. So I had a flip phone, and so because of that, when I wanted to meet people, I would use Craigslist. And you might be saying, or wondering, well, weren't you in like a gay group, and don't you always talk about having like a lot of gay friends and stuff, and haven't you had them for a while? And my answer to that is that in my freshman year I did have a few friends, but I was still coming into myself in a lot of ways. I don't know why I rested again. We already repaired the item. And so I Well, for one, there wasn't anyone romantically interested in me within the group of people. And then two, I just was in a very different place in my life. A lot of the people I was friends with were older than me, or alternatively, they just were very culturally different from me, and I'll talk more about that in a bit. Anyway, finally it's complete. The Phase Distorter version 2. It is equipped with two new features. First, it can repair your biological functions. Second, it can save your progress. Don't be afraid, get right in. There is just one thing though. You might not be able to return, so make sure that you're optimally outfitted. Are you ready to go? Nope! Guess not, Mom. So, this is basically the final segment of the game, if you can't tell. When we get in there, we are setting off a chain of events that is going to make it so that we basically have to either beat the game or just keep resetting until we succeed. So, we need to figure out if there are things we need to do, right? Because, you know, there's some items that we might want to load up on, and I think we could use some more brain food lunches, so we are going to warp to Foreside, and actually, we should warp to Dalam. Damn it. Whoops. I made a mistake already, Mom. I guess this gives me an excuse to keep telling my story, though, but... Anyway, I ended up texting buddies with this dude. I met him over Craigslist. He was looking for someone also to text with, another gay person his age. And I was basically like, sure, let's do it. And... he basically... he dealt with his depression very differently from me. And I think it also showed, like, this fundamental difference in how gay people deal with, not gay people as compared to straight people, but, like, one of the big differences between, like, gay people that we have between each other, rather, is that he basically, like, would put all of his problems on me, and at the same time not really reciprocate it, and at the same time I would only want to really... I did not feel comfortable bringing up my own problems. And what I mean by this is that basically I've noticed throughout my years of existence, there's some guys who really feel that other gay people basically exist to make them feel better about themselves, and what I mean by that is that they basically date someone because it will make them feel good about themselves, and they don't necessarily concern themselves with the other person's feelings as much. It's more like, it's almost kind of like this person is looking for, like, almost another parent, almost. I don't know how to explain it. So, like, in this specific case, the guy I'm talking about actually was basically, like, using me as a therapist, but also not reciprocating it, right? And the reason for that is that where he was at was that he needed someone basically to take care of him. And the place I was at was I basically felt the need to take care of other people because I felt like it was me making up for myself being a bad person. Does that make sense? And so likewise, the generalization I'm trying to make here for other gay people is that I've noticed that that is actually a pretty common duality that I have seen in my relationships and the relationships of my friends, where one person basically wants to be taken care of because they feel really bad, and the other person compulsively takes care of other people because that's what they do when they don't know how to get in control of their own life. And so I'm not saying that this is just one type of person, because I think that we go back and forth between that role, and that this is something that, like, the same person can alternate between these behaviors, but, you know, it just, creates this situation where it's a very give and take relationship, and it's very... It can create the grounds for a lot of stress. And you know, one of the things I remember this guy told me about was basically he had lost a lot of his friends because they were basically like saying that he basically wanted to be depressed because he never did anything about it, and that all he would do was complain. And I was like, oh man, T, because that is exactly what you do. But put that on pause for a sec. Greetings, so you're finally here. Excellent, you truly are excellent. There is only a little time left. I'll give you the last power. I must go now. Pooh became conscious of PSI Starstorm Omega. So, PSI Starstorm Omega and PSI Game and Omega are going to be the two end-game PSI abilities. They are the strongest abilities in the game in terms of damage. But we have both of those, so again, that means we're basically at the end of the game. Kidnapped I was, boing, kidnapper, bad guy gone, zoom, where to? The past, ding ding. Ness checked the broken phase distorter, there was a Horn of Life. Ness got the Horn of Life. Okay, and now what do we do, Mom? Do we check this thing? No problem here. And hey, a phase distorter. A phase distorter has been completed. We could finish it quickly because of Mr. Saturn's incredible scientific skill. Gygus is attacking from our exact location, but he is attacking from many years in the past. Okay. What do I do with this phase distorter? Nothing? Okay, what's up, Dr. Andonauts? This is very hard for me to tell you, but... You must warp to the past and fight, but... Well, after we have this very difficult conversation, we are going to be warped to the final area of the game. So I'm going to wrap up what I was talking about, and then we will start the next episode here. But basically what I was saying was this guy basically said that his friends kind of abandoned him because they felt that he didn't do anything about his depression but complain about it. And I agreed to an extent, but I felt that was a little bit of a mean way for friends to deal with that. But, he basically just got mad at me for not being always available, eventually, and then we just eventually stopped texting. And then I also was growing frustrated because he just refused to engage with any of the things that were going on with me. And, you know, I think that dichotomy I talked about, where some people really what they want out of a relationship is to take care of or be taken care of, and that other people really want to take care of someone else. Even though that sounds like it works out, that's something that I think is inherently very volatile, because it leads to a lot of resentment, in my opinion. Especially if one party thinks the other party owes them something. Because it's, in this case, the person I'm talking about really wanted someone else to take care of him, but I've been in situations where someone else has really wanted to take care of me, regardless of what I wanted, and that's not... I wanted to basically have us be equals, and I think that both of those have their negative aspects. And the reason why I talk about them is because I have been I've been both people before, and it's just something you just kind of learn over time. But in the meantime, in between time, we're almost at 25 minutes exactly, so I'm gonna wrap up this video. We got we have Apple Kid here, plus 2 Mr. Saturn and Dr. Andonauts in this hellish machine, so we're gonna peace the fuck out, and we are gonna kick off the next episode here. And the next episode very well might be the last episode of the game, I am not sure. But in the meantime, in between time, I'm Ethan Bonreal, and I'm phase distorting out of your ears. Goodbye.